So one of the questions I get asked a fair amount is about what is the best way to save your pictures. Generally, there's 3, maybe 4 different types I think photographers will probably come across most commonly. The first one is JPEG. This is the one that you're probably going to use more often than anything. You can shoot in JPEG in your camera, then you can save your image in a JPEG as well, and then you can upload it onto the internet. So it's a really kind of simple file format that works all the way across from shooting to editing, then to uploading. But the one thing with JPEG is that it's what we refer to as a lossy file. This means it loses information. Every time it gets edited and then saved, there's a little bit of information lost. So the next one is RAW. Now again, cameras, a lot of cameras, most cameras these days can shoot in a RAW file format. This effectively means that you're capturing as most possible information from your camera based upon all the settings that you've got on. It is all literally the raw detail. It is unprocessed, it is unfurnished, it's what you shot on the day. Now you will need specialist software to open raw images, then to edit it as well. You will struggle to upload raw images directly to the internet. It sometimes needs to be converted to something like a JPEG. So it isn't always the most easiest and the most kind of light way of processing images, but it is probably the best way to shoot if you want to retain as much detail as possible. So another option you've got is a PNG. Now PNG, which is a portable network graphic, this is a file type that is slightly more suited towards graphics and text. So if you're adding that on top of your images for promotional or advertising purposes or anything like that, it's probably a little bit better to use something like a PNG over a JPEG. Again, you can find these in most editing softwares. Your camera won't necessarily be able to shoot PNG, but when it comes to the editing stage, it can be very useful if you're going to be adding on text and graphics and things like that on top. So another option that you've got to use is a TIFF, which is a tagged information file format. Now this is a very good type of file format if you're wanting to store lots of different layers on your image in respects to the edit, if you've been kind of building up lots of layers and adding lots of bits for composites, etc. This is absolutely great if you're not using Photoshop and you don't want to start using PSDs because they're not transferable to softwares that are outside of Adobe a lot of the time. TIFF files are really good because they're a little bit more generic in that basis, but they still keep a lot of information in there. They're a lossless file format, so you're not going to lose information like you would on JPEG.